Well, Jordan, thank you very much for taking the trip from Pittsburgh.
Nah.
How long is that drive from Pittsburgh to Ridgefield?
6.5 hours. Okay. Yeah, it's about 6.5 hours. Even with a couple stops for fuel and everything.
Nice. That's not too bad.
Pretty good time. And I slept in too. We had alarms set for, I think, 3:15, 3:30. I think I woke up, it was 5. Hurried up and typed in the address. Seen we would make it here like right at noon. I'm like, let's go. We gotta go.
Wait, so 5 a.m. is sleeping in for you?
Oh yeah, 5 a.m. was sleeping in for us. Usually every day I'm up 5:30.
Yeah.
Get home. It varies. Now I kind of have the privilege of doing my own thing at work. I have people under me, but I don't like to take advantage of that because I know what it was like working for people like that.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, you're empathetic and you're paying your dues. Well, you did pay your dues, so now you're in a position where you pay it forward. Absolutely. Try to. Yeah, of course. And that's what we do in the program, you know? That's what we learn, to be selfless people and to give back to others. So watching the program repeat itself in you is an amazing thing, and that's what we do to kind of pass the message along as well. Mm-hmm. So you live in Pittsburgh now. Are you originally from Pittsburgh? Yes, we're about 45 minutes south of Pittsburgh. She's from Belle Vernon, same school district, but I lived in a village actually. The village of Webster, maybe 50 to 100 people, all elderly people. For sure. So anything, maybe 1 or 2 kids. So we got caught doing everything. Every little thing we did, there was nobody else that was doing it, So did you have siblings? I have an older sister, yes. Okay. And how many years older is she? 3. Okay. So you guys are relatively close in age. Yes, very, very close. Were you guys running together, up to shenanigans together? No, she's another one. She smoked weed and that was it. Yeah. Never looked anywhere past that. And we had a tough life growing up. My mother passed away when I was 6. Dad left the day I was born, but he would send my sister birthday cards growing up and acknowledge her, but just completely did not acknowledge me at all. I did not exist. Yeah. So myself and my sister, we were thick as thieves. Our grandparents raised us. Yeah. So was that confusing as a young child? Your grandparents raising you, they're older than your peers' parents, and you look around and everyone's parents are, I played football, so all the football practices and stuff, there's these kids with their young, all their parents are younger, and then there's my grandparents, but it never really bothered me or affected me like that, because they gave us a really, really good life. Just my grandfather was a police officer, very, very old school, I'll tell you once and then you're getting your ass beat. Yeah. And my sister, she's the crazy one, believe it or not. You were younger. Oh, even now, she's on go like that. You don't talk reckless to her. She's got a few screws loose. Yeah. And so her and my grandfather, because they're a lot alike, they butted heads. Me, I was more quiet. I still knew what I was doing, and I would earn all of my ass beatings, but for sure, they were worth it. Was it easy to kind of fly under the radar though, because they were a little older? For example, sneaking out at night, no. Oh, they were on it. Like I said, my grandfather was a cop. He was on drug task force. Oh, so we had scanners, police scanners in separate rooms of our house, to where I would be sleeping as a kid, 8, 9, 10 years old. 2, 3 in the morning, my grandfather would come in and wake me up like, hey, there was something going on here. You want to go see it? Yeah, sure. I'm going and seeing bad car accidents, house fires, close access to it, and yeah, it was a different childhood. You mentioned you played football. When did you start playing sports? So I played football and baseball. Football my entire life, started when I was 6 till I graduated. Baseball I played till about 9th grade, and then I just kind of lost interest. And that's when it was like, you know what, this football, I'm actually pretty good. There's kind of a future in this, So I kind of
dedicated my life to football.
Were you an O lineman?
Yeah, offensive and defensive lineman.
Yeah, you're a big dude.
Yeah, and I mean, at that point, I'm well out of shape now, but I lived in the weight room. I mean, it was a job. You know, that was growing up. My your father's not your father. You know, so you're always searching for that. I'm proud of you. You did good. Mm-hmm. So like that was my way. Like football, if I can go out and make the paper and make all these wonderful plays, like my grandfather would be like, man, like you did good. I'm proud of you. And it's something I chased until he passed away. Mm. He didn't actually tell me, he was proud of me and stuff until he was on his dying, on his deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you play football through high school?
I played, all through from when I was 6 years old, all through high school. And I had some scholarship offers, Iowa, Syracuse, Purdue, Maryland, some top tier schools. Mm. And I ended up during spring break playing a pickup game of basketball with a bunch of buddies. Small puddle on the court. And I don't like to lose. So if we're playing something, I'm all in. Fast break down the court, and I step in this puddle. My foot slides and then catches the pavement again, tears my ACL. There it goes, out the window.
So you tear your ACL. This is in high school?
Yes.
Right after your senior football season, with all of these offers on the table. You were committed to Iowa, which is a D1 top tier program.
When Robert Gallery, when it was lineman U. Yeah.
So this is probably what, 06, 07?
05.
05.
06,
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you now have committed to Iowa on a scholarship. Yeah. You're playing a pickup game of basketball, and you tear your ACL?
ACL.
You have surgery.
Yes. And at the same time, my grandfather, who raised me, is diagnosed with lung cancer. Right? So my sister moved out. Now it's just myself and my grandparents.
Yeah.
So now I, as a human, feel responsible. Hey, you took care of me when you didn't have to. It's my turn to take care of you. So I had actually, Iowa rescinded, the scholarship. They had made me another offer of, hey, you go to this junior college in California called College of the Canyons. We see how your knee holds up. You go there first semester. Everything's on the up and up. We'll bring you on as a walk-on and then work your way to a scholarship, right? My grandfather gets lung cancer. I pass on that opportunity. Yeah.
Hey guys, quick update. Every Monday night, I host the Rise Above Recovery meeting. It's an open meeting for any addiction, alcohol, drugs, gambling, food, whatever you're struggling with, you're welcome here. To get the meeting link and weekly updates, just email me at kevin@riseabovepod.com and I'll add you to the list. Also, if this podcast has helped you, please like, subscribe, or leave a rating. It helps us continue to spread the message of hope. Lastly, if you'd like to go even deeper with Rise Above, check out our Patreon. Supporters get access to live interviews and can chat with guests after the interview. Thank you. Do you think it was, you clearly put in the work to get the scholarship, but was it like, okay, well, now I have to go to junior college for a year?
It didn't dishearten me because I love the game.
Yeah.
I love the fact that, you mean I can put on this uniform, I can go out there and rip somebody's head off and there's zero consequences. I'm going to be considered a hero for this. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my out. That was my stress. That was my, I'm going to show you, hey, you can't do this right, or you're doing this wrong, watch this.
Yeah.
And
so you stay home. Do you end up going to school or no? You just said,
so I do end up start going to school for criminal justice to be a police officer. So I decided I wanted to be a police officer. At that time, I never did drugs. I would drink, field parties, stuff like that. But I didn't touch drugs until after I graduated high school. Mm-hmm. Smoked weed for the first time. Stopped going to school to the point where it's funny, the kid that used to ride to school with me. He's a local cop where we live. He's the chief of police. And I'll see him, you know, I would be 100 mile an hour down the highway, late to school, hitting a bong or hitting a pipe. He's sitting in the passenger seat because we'd tag along to school, you know, drive to school. I'd park, sleep in my car. He'd go in class, come out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you weren't getting caught.
No, nope, no. Yeah.
So just curious, how did you do with the painkillers from the ACL surgery?
So that's when it was like, man, where have you been my entire life? That instant, that warm blanket almost, you know, like where have you been? You know, this is what I've been looking for my entire life, you know, and it started off, I just dabbled, you know, I got my knee right, drank, but I didn't really get too crazy with the pills. And then once I kind of dropped out of school to be a cop, then it was just like I was a trash can. I got a job, I think, doing construction or at some kind of factory. And it was just whatever. Hey, I got this ecstasy. You want to try this? Oh, I got these, you know, Dilaudid. You want to try this? You know, whatever you had, if it would put you somewhere else, I'll try it, you know. I just wanted to escape. I don't even know what I was running from.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, I like feeling like this rather than like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So what does the progression look like from there? You go back. Was it when you said you became a trash can, you're working this job after college? What are you doing? Like perks at this point?
Yeah. At that time, it was 30s.
Yep.
30s, 15s, oxys. But it was right when Oxy, the 80s and like the 160s, the bars, they first came out, but they were very hard to find.
Yeah. Then they
30s
fizzled.
and 15s were
Abundant.
Everywhere, you know. But I would say it was whenever I really started snorting 80s, that's when I was like, okay, I'm not really going to mess with cocaine. I'm not really going to mess with weed. I'm not really going to mess with anything else. Like, this is where I want to be because I can still function, you know, in your mind. You're running around like an asshole and everyone's looking at you like you got 12 heads, but in your mind, I'm completely, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, and then Opanas, whenever Opanas came out, that was a whole different animal, you know.
What are you doing? So I know when any job I was working, I was blowing right through that paycheck every time when I was doing oxys.
I owed the boss money.
Yeah. What were some of the things that you had to do to, you know, cop drugs?
I mean, if it wasn't bolted down, I was stealing it. And it's something that I'll live with the rest of my life, like my Graham's wedding rings. You know what I mean? Like family jewelry. And it's you don't realize the gravity of what you're doing because there's something controlling you that if you've never lived it, you can't explain it. You know what I mean? I've seen the nicest, you know, straight A students do the craziest things because they're sick. You know, it just turns you into a whole different person and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's that obsessive compulsivity when you are in the grips of addiction.
Nothing matters.
Drugs and alcohol, whatever your drug of choice is, it's number one and it comes before everything.
Yeah.
Becomes your higher power. And you will do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, are you stopping at all or at least having it in the back of your head that you potentially are losing control and that drugs are kind of in the driver's seat?
At that point, no. I thought I'm just dabbling, you know. And it wasn't until one day I didn't have them, and I'm like, man, I don't feel good. It's August. It's 100 degrees out in Pennsylvania, but I'm walking around with a blanket, a tassel cap, shivering, you know, freezing. Yes, absolutely, just freezing. So my buddy calls me, hey, what are you doing? You know, you want to go do? Listen, man, I'm sick. I got the flu or something. Like, oh, okay, I'll be over in 10 minutes. All right, yeah, whatever. comes over, he's laughing, kind of making fun of me. He's like, "You're dope sick, dude." No, man, I'm not a drug addict. I'm not. What is wrong with you? I had to slap you for even saying that, I'm not a junkie. Like, what? He's like, "I bet you if I give you one of these pills and you take it, you'll be fine in minutes." Yeah, I'll take you on that bet here. I could go run a marathon.
Yeah.
And then it hits you, but you still don't accept it.
Yeah.
I have countless rehabs, just it's a vicious cycle.
So walk us through, what was it like? How did you end up in your first rehab?
Okay, so my first rehab, I was with my son's mother. We lived in Latrobe. I was driving a flatbed wrecker.
No kids yet, though.
Yes, I had my
You
son.
already had the son.
Yes, I had my son. He was probably only 2.
Mm-hmm.
Had a company credit card, right? I'm a full-blown pillhead. I don't have any money, So what I would do is I would go to Walmart, use this company credit card and buy Walmart gift cards, call my dealer, "Hey, man, I got these $100 Visa vanilla gift cards. Can you do me 2 for $100 or 3 for $100? Yeah, man, I'll take those all day."
Mm.
Well, it lasted a couple months, and then the owners started looking at the statements, and I didn't charge this. Next thing you know, got arrested. They put me on probation. I'm a drug addict. I wasn't ready to quit.
Yeah, of course.
But I hit him with the tears.
I have a problem.
I have a problem. I can't stop. Yada yada yada. So we're going to give you probation. We're going to send you this rehab. So let me tell you how this rehab works. I go to the rehab. 30 days. I'm the mayor of the rehab, right? So you go in and you have your groups and everything, and for attendance and everything, you read the announcements. Well, they nominate somebody to lead the groups and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the mayor. I leave rehab after 30 days. I have a needle in my arm 20 minutes after being home. It was just, that was the start of it, really.
So you mentioned before that you had already had your child. How did that come about? You met a girl along the way.
Yes. So my friend was messing around with a girl, and she happened to be her friend. We happened to mess around, ended up starting a date. She wanted a child. I was clearly a drug addict, nowhere, and couldn't take care of myself, let alone another human being. Mm-hmm. And surprise, she got pregnant when we were together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a recipe for disaster.
Okay. And then you also mentioned you had a needle in your arm right after rehab.
Yes.
When did can you
how I transitioned
describe for us how you went from oxys
mm-hmm.
to the first time you started doing heroin?
So Opanas, mm-hmm. they came out, and once you started doing Opana, it was weird. Like the oxys, you could take so many 30s or 15s, and you would feel similar to the oxy high, right? Opanas, there was no other high equivalent to the Opana. You could do 50 30s, and it was nowhere near that one Opana 40 or 60 or whatever the case it was, right? So I'm heavy on the Opanas at the time. I'm out, and I'm starting to come down bad. I'm in a bad way. So I'm calling everybody under the sun, messaging everybody under the sun, random people that I maybe met one time, like, "Oh, hey, can you get anything?" Sure shit. Somebody responds, "Yeah, I can get something, but you're not going to like the answer." "What is it?" "Dope. I can get bags." Man, miss me with that. I'm not doing no bags. Like, come on. A little bit of time goes by. I'm still not getting any responses. I call him, like, "What's the deal, man?" He's like, "Listen, it's the same thing you're doing in that Opana. It's just not made in a lab. It's same chemistry, same makeup." "How much?" "Okay, all right, yeah, give me 2 bags. I'll try it." I do 1 bag, and I'm highest I've ever been in my life. From that point, it was like, don't even come near me with a pill, And only so long I never smoked it. snorted it.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm snorting it, my parole officer calls me. Hey, I need you to take a piss. Come down to my office tomorrow morning. I'm hot, you know. So I go to Walmart, CVS, all these places and buy the home drug test kits, right? Pound a bunch of water all night, trying to flush this out. I'm taking nice and I'm burned, you know, horrible spot. So I finally get one to pass. I'm like, I'm in there. I drive down to the PO's office. I go in. He's like, you hot for anything? I'm like, nah, man, the only thing that'll come up should be Suboxone. Because I was told him I was taking Suboxone at the time to help me not do dope.
Mm-hmm.
So he stands there. He watches me, you know, pee in the cup. He looks at it. He goes, Suboxone. What else? I'm like, weed? He's like, what else? So I literally melt this cup to this guy's hand. Every drug you could Xanax, opiates, cocaine, everything. I mean, I melt the cup to this guy, to my PO's hand, right? So he puts me in handcuffs, puts me in his holding cell. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm supposed to be going to work, cutting grass with my buddy. So he comes in. He's like, you have anything in your car that I should know about? I'm like, no. He's like, you have somebody you can call to come get your car? Yeah. So I call my buddy, hey, I'm going to jail. Can you come get my car? My buddy Chubb. He's like, yeah. He comes and gets it. PO goes out and searches my car. Well, I had one of those ashtray, like cup ashtrays. Stuffed a bunch of empty bags in this, you know. And I have the drug test with my piss in it in the trunk of my car, right? So I'm sitting in this holding cell. This PO walks in. He's like, Jordan, you might be the dumbest motherfucker I've ever met in my life. I'm like, what do you mean? Why? He's like, how much do you pay for that drug test? I was like, $40 or $50. He's like, everyone knows they don't work. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like, you're lucky I'm not going to get you for those empties either. I'm like, thank you so much. And he was such a dick to me. But looking back, he only wanted the best for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the time, I'm like, man, this fucking dude, he's on my top. Like, I can't stand this guy.
Yeah.
But then looking back now, I'm like, man, he just was trying to do his job and get me in the right way.
Of course. I mean, yeah, we hate when people get in the way of our drug
100%,
use.
yeah.
And then they punish us when we use drugs because we were on probation because we stole from our company to get drugs.
Yeah. We don't, because in our sick, delusional mind, it's the most narcissistic thing ever.
It's ridiculous.
Me. I mean, there would be times I would be so dope sick, couldn't get out of bed, right? Calling people, nobody would answer. And then finally somebody would answer, yeah, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'm instantly not sick anymore. I don't even have the drugs. Just because this guy said, yeah, I'll be there in 15 minutes, I'm bringing you the drugs. It's like your dope sick goes away. It is the most mind-boggling disease entity ever. You know, to control you that way it's remarkable. It is remarkable.
He searches your car. He lets you go on the bags. How long do you sit in jail?
3 days. 72-hour hold. That was the first time I ever went to jail. 3 days. And I got there. They quarantined you for like 24 hours. So I was only really on the block for a day and a half.
Yeah.
I never even left my cell.
Yeah. And then you get bailed out.
Yeah. Yep. Now I get picked up. They let me out. But then I had to go to like IOP, intensive outpatient rehab and everything. And he urine tested me like 3-4 times a week till I got off probation. And then once I got off probation, I was actually clean for about 2 years.
So how long were you on probation for following the 3-day jail stint when you popped?
2 years.
Okay. So then were you clean during that time? Okay. Because he was drug testing you 3 times a week. So, okay. So on probation of those 2 years, you stay clean and then you stay clean for
I drank, but nothing.
Okay.
You know,
no
substances whatsoever.
Got it. And so technically for a good 4 years, you're not using drugs.
Yep.
And how old are you at this point?
early 20s, mid 20s, 24, 25.
Okay. So
yeah, about 24, 25.
Okay. So after these 4 years, you're drinking, it's working for you. You're, not doing drugs. After those 4 years, when do you pick back up?
So I happened to be on Facebook and seeing a girl, shot a shot, she was in recovery. She was on Subutex. Oh yeah, cool. Let's hang out, So we started drinking together, and then it was like, oh, well, I've never done Coke, so I'd like to try Coke. All right, I never really had a problem with Coke, We'll do some Coke. Yeah, we do some Coke, and then it maybe a couple weeks of just consistently doing Coke. It was like, oh, well, I think I'd like to do some bags to calm down. All right, okay. Well, I'd never really shot up at this point, right? So we find bags. I go to a Tractor Supply, right? I go into Tractor Supply where the animal syringes are, like for horses, cows, cats, dogs, right? I don't have no money. I'm a drug addict. I steal these syringes from Tractor Supply to go shoot this dope. Bro, they're like fucking horse syringes, like crazy gauge, like a basketball pump. So everyone I'm with, they're looking there like, no, we'll just snort ours, I'm like, well, you guys hype this up so much, like I'm gonna shoot it. So they fix it up for me. They hit me, and they had to leave it in because as soon as they pour it out, it started shooting out like a fountain. Yeah. And that's how I got introduced to the needle.
Through a horse needle.
Through a fucking horse needle that I stole from Tractor Supply.
What did you feel like? What was the difference once shooting it?
Instant. Instant. Before the plungers even push through, it's the most incredible feeling in the world.
So you shoot. Where do you go from there?
Down the fuck hill. Start ripping, running, stealing. Going to Lowe's, stealing stuff, going to like local grocery stores, stealing steaks, selling them to people that own like barbecue places on the side of the road. Like, hey, what type of meat do you need this week? Here's a list. And then me and a couple buddies would go fill a cart up, your local Walmart, grocery store, walk out like it's ours, throw it in the trunk, see you later. Go steal shit from Lowe's and then go back in, like have somebody with an ID, go back in, get a gift card and sell the gift card. Any way you could possibly make money, the girl I was with at the time, she would, she would save all of her empties. So people would call like, oh yeah, can you get anything? She would literally sit there for hours and fill these bags with makeup to sell to these people while we kept the real dope. You know what I mean? And it was just whatever, it's survival, and I hate to say it like that, but it turns you into a person that you never thought you could be. I'll tell you a good story, man. I'm deep in addiction. I'm staying in a trap house. My dealer's duplex, the house next door was empty. So I knew the window was open. So I would just leave their house, crawl in the duplex, and that's where I would sleep. So I walk broad daylight down to a Subway at a shopping center in the hood with a butter knife. I'm going to rob a fucking Subway sandwich shop in the hood that makes no money whatsoever. But I'm so desperate to get off of sick that I'm going to rob this place with a butter knife. No mask, nothing. Broad daylight. It's not like I'm the most easily hideable person, And I'm sitting on this bench. This is a true story. I'm sitting on this bench waiting for customers to leave out of this Subway sandwich shop. And I hear like wind blowing paper. So I'm like, what the hell? And I look and it's money, like a bill blowing across the parking lot. So I jump off this bench, run over and grab it. It's a $50 bill. So then I hear, I look to the left and there's a stack of money sitting on the ground, just blowing in the wind. It ends up being $950 because there was an ATM in this parking lot, and it was first of the month. So I got some elderly person's money that they probably just took out to pay their bills and shit, dropped it on the ground by accident, didn't even know they did it. You know, talk about the divine intervention. I was going to go in and literally rob a Subway with a butter knife, but this random money appeared. So yeah. Yeah.
So what, you must have lost your shit when you saw $950.
Couldn't believe it. And I think I might have started to cry, honestly, because I was in a rough spot. You know, I'm sitting on this bench for a good 20 minutes, half hour, you know, trying to work up the nerve to go commit an armed robbery.
Yeah.
You know, never had a speeding ticket in my life. I'm going to go in and rob a Subway sandwich shop in the hood for nothing.
With a butter knife?
With a butter knife. I'd have probably got $8. Wouldn't even got me off sick.
But it's crazy. Like, even just talking to you prior to this interview and even now, like, you're a good guy, you know? And, you know, your wife is here and, you know, you've been clean and sober for some time now. And this is where it brought you. This is where drugs bring people.
Mm-hmm.
And we do things, they call them the yets. I remember the first meeting I ever went to. I did not get sober after that meeting, but I heard this one did an insurance scam. This one, you know, robbed their mom. This one did an armed robbery. And I was like, wow, I would never do that.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
I'll never do that.
I played football in college. Like, I have this corporate job. I would never do that. And then I started to slowly lose all those things, and it started to get worse. And you said it really well. We go, it's survival mode. Yeah. It's like go back 1,000 years from now. Lives were being taken left and right for food because people needed to survive. When you are on drugs, you need drugs to survive.
That's your only survival. That's the only thing you're thinking about. That is all that your mind focuses on. That is all you know. There is no stopping you until you get to that point, you know, and until you hit true rock bottom, it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I know a lot of good people lost a lot of good people, you know, for what?
Yeah. So you go, you find this money, you go and you cop heroin. You're getting high. How fast did you go through that money?
Day and a half, if that, between buying a substantial amount of crack and a couple bricks.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I was up for a little bit of time, but yeah, the money didn't last long. Plus, I was the type of person I didn't really enjoy getting high alone. So if I come up into that kind of money, I'm calling my other friends that are struggling, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, I just came up, you know. So we all had a good time.
Yeah. Where are you living at this point?
Streets. At this point, my grand passed away. So I was just wherever I could, the woods, under the bridge. I would break back into my grand's house because nobody lived in it. Just always on the run.
Yeah.
Always on the run. Miserable.
When you were on the streets, what was one of the craziest things that you witnessed?
I've seen a lot of bad throughout the years. Not even just from drugs, but I would say when I was using drugs, one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen was and this was when I was fresh into drug use, was a 9 month pregnant woman shooting up in her neck. Yeah, that was pretty sickening. You know, ODs I've seen. I couldn't even tell you how many. You know.
Are you, did you have any overdoses?
None that I was hit with Narcan, but I have went out once.
Yeah.
You know, somebody brought me back, put my hand in water, slapped me, yell, you know, and I was just talking to her recently about that. I was like, you lose your mind for a little bit of time. Like I was like jumping on the couch, just blowed out of my mind. And then the next thing you know, I was death gargling, you know, and then you wake up and you have no clue what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Just what?
So you eventually end up going to prison. Can you walk us through what had happened and
absolutely.
led you to go to prison?
All right. So this is kind of a shitty, this is a prime example of where drugs will take you. So my nephew's dad, Kenny, great guy. So I've known him and my sister dated for years. They're not together anymore, but he was part of the family, you know, and he did well for himself. He had a construction business and he was out of town and I was going to sell him some stolen stuff and he was out of town. I needed the money. So I broke into his house. I knew I was on camera. I just took a window unit out of his window, you know, air conditioner, climbed in his house, took some things, pawned them, and got caught for it. So that's how I ended up in jail. So I get to jail. First week I'm there, I'm dope sick, so I'm running around storing off everybody. Like, oh, I'm sick, I got money coming. Like, I need all the sweets you have, you know. I'm not going home anytime soon. I'm here on a burglary, you know. Well, this guy stores me some stuff. He ends up going upstate when I get my store bag when it's time to pay him back. Well, when you go upstate, you can't take anything with you from county. All right, cool. I'm keeping my bag. I don't know anyone anything now. Well, his cellmate thought different. So his cellmate came down. I'm playing cards. He's like, hey, you know, where's that stuff for my cellie? Your cellie went upstate. You're burnt. So and mind you, at the time, I'm 165, 170 pounds, long hair. They said I look like Dope Sick Jesus. Like that was my nickname, Dope Sick Jesus. You know what I mean? So I'm in a rough place. So I tell him, like, I'm not giving you anything. I go in my cell and get like a bag of peanut M&Ms. I don't know why. I will never forget this. I start eating the peanut M&Ms. I step out of my cell door and this dude sucker punches the shit out of me. I mean, broke my eye socket. Well, me and him start fighting. None of my friends jump in. 3 of his friends jump in. I get my eye socket broke. I had to get a bunch of stitches in my forehead. Just an all bad situation. So after that point, I was like, I don't want to stay in county jail. If I can, I want to go to prison. Because I'd been talking to people in county jail and they're like, prison's way more laid back. Like, you don't have to deal with a bunch of the bullshit you do. Like, you can move around. Mm. So I have an attorney. I go to court and I'm like, listen. He's like, all right, they're going to give you 11 and a half, 23 months in county. I said, well, am I guaranteed? At this point, I was in there probably 10 months. Am I guaranteed to go home at 11 and a half months? No. All right, I want to go upstate. Well, what do you mean? I want to go upstate. Give me a 1 to 2. You know, that's what I want. I'm paying you. You're my lawyer. I want to go upstate. So we went back and forth, but I ended up signing a 1 to 5 open plea. So it was 1 to 3 state confinement, followed by 2 years state supervised probation, which is worse than parole. Mm. But I walked all that off and been out of trouble now for 5-6 years. I think I've been off since COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, when COVID hit.
So you ended up, in total, how much time? Did you end up getting sent up to prison?
Oh, yeah. I went upstate.
Okay. And then how long were you in there for?
About 2 years.
What was that like?
Oh, man. So it's like the movies. This is what I tell a lot of people. If you stay out of the bullshit, you don't gamble, you don't run with the gangs and stuff, it's not that bad. Find, 1 or 2 guys you're cool with. You watch each other's backs. No one really fucks with you. You start gambling, get debts and everything. That's when it's going to be a problem. But so prison, I get shipped to SCI Pittsburgh, which is right on the river in Pittsburgh. They closed it down. It's like, looks like the Shawshank Redemption prison, just old 5-tier high. So I go through quarantine there and they're like, okay, this is going to be your home jail because you have a short sentence. Cool. Soon as I get my Browns, which is your general population, they give you your bedroll. Okay, go to block F, cell 140. So I'm walking through with my bedroll and everything. I see 2 guys walk out of a cell with their tassel caps pulled down over their face with holes in the eyes for like a ski mask, and they're carrying a guy's footlocker down the tier, and the guy comes out with a screwdriver in his face. I said, well, this is going to be fun. I'm glad I made this choice. Maybe county wasn't so bad, you know? But yeah, oh no, I seen some bad shit in prison.
What was the worst thing that you saw in prison?
Guy hung himself. So I was in the hole, and you have buzzers and stuff in your cell, but the COs don't really pay attention to that shit. So the guy took his sheet, and in the vent, it's like a checkerboard, you know? He weaved the fabric from these little strings from his sheet in the vent and then hung himself, right? So you could see out of your little wicket, you could see this guy's hanging. So we're in the hole, like beating on our doors, trying to get COs to come out, and they don't give a shit. You're in the hole, you know? Piss off. So about 2 hours later, after this guy's hanging there, CO comes through doing his round, starts freaking out. They bring this guy out. He's blue as the carpet, deader than shit. Put him on the gurney, take him down, and they take him down on the floor. So you got your cells like an L, so everyone can see right down where this guy is. So they put the AED on him, you know, standing back, man, and they're hitting this guy. We're like, what are you doing? He's been dead for hours, you know. I'd say that was probably one of the, but then I've also seen guys like they run up gambling debts and they want to go to a different camp, or they want off of that block because they owe somebody so much money. So they would take like their sock or a cable cord and put their lock on there, just come out of nowhere and smack somebody with it, whoever, just to get moved out of there. You know, you might not know this guy from a can of paint, and he just come over and wrecked your head because he owes the poker table $50. You know, but oh yeah, I've seen. So my aunt is like the only family I really have left. So I'm in prison. They come visit me. She come visit me every week, and you have contact visits, state prison. So we're sitting there. It's myself, her, and my uncle, and she looks over at this inmate, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't know they had women at this jail." I'm like, that's a dude. You know, like that's a man. And my aunt was like, oh man, you know, because in PA they give them the hormones and everything to transition. Yeah.
Do they really?
Yes, they do. 100% they do.
Holy shit.
And then I mean, I've seen guys, not personally like seen them get raped, but I've known guys getting raped and shit. Like when all that P. Diddy stuff came out, I laugh all the time. I'm like, that shit goes down in prison all the time. They love it. Yeah. Them gangster dudes are fucking dudes all week. And then they're going out on their visits on the weekend, kissing on their wife and stuff. Oh, ask anyone that's been to state prison. They'll tell you.
Oh my
if they're not afraid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why care? They're in prison. You know?
That's wild.
Oh, yeah. Hooch. I remember one time guy came up to me with a peanut butter jar. Looked like orange juice. He's like, hey man, $4. What is it? It's good. It's hooch. All right, I'll give it a shot. Here's a kite. Drink this peanut butter jar. I'm telling you what, 3 days straight, didn't know where the fuck I was at. And I worked in the kitchen too, so I had a good hustle. I would bring back oranges, bread, sugar, because everything's a hustle. Survival. You know, you're a drug addict. You just don't have, well, you can get drugs in prison, but you just find a different hustle, find a different way to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, I work in the kitchen. You want the stuff that you can't get, I can get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's just, it's a vicious cycle like that.
Were you using it all in prison other than drinking the hooch?
Suboxone. I'd get pieces of Suboxone and then Deuce. Every once in a while I'd smoke K2. And let me tell you that.
What is that like?
The most intense 10 minutes of your life, but it feels like 10 years. I'm talking, I've seen guys smoke it and try to jump off of the tiers. I've seen guys, and I'm talking, looks like a toothpick. Like we get a stick one time. The first time I ever got one, I'm like, they're like, oh, you want to go on a stick? It's $5 a person. There was like 4 of us. $20. All right, yeah. I'm expecting to see like a joint. He pulls out this fucking toothpick looking thing. What is that? What is that going to do to us? I took 2 hits and I was stuck. No idea where I was at. Just like fried, just fried. And then the bad part about it is it's so prevalent in prisons. Like people spray it on cards. There's ways that they get it in there. You'll be standing next to somebody that smokes it. They just fall out, start puking everywhere. You just got to walk away, because you don't want to get caught up in that. Now you're going to the hole because he can't handle his, see grown men out in the yard swimming in the grass, some wild shit, some wild shit.
So you end up getting out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you start to work a program when you get out? Obviously.
I did for parole.
Okay.
I had to go as like in PA, you have to do programs. So they have what's called TC, therapeutic community. So while you're in prison, you're on a block with just people that are drug addicts, and it's like a rehab inside the prison. So in order to parole, you have to complete that. So it's like the 12-step. You have to do your, you do like worksheets and stuff. Then you have to do your chemical history. And so it is like a good program, but that's how you get out of prison. You have to complete these. So you go in front of the parole board and they're like, okay, yeah, you completed that. We'll parole you. So that's how.
Okay. So you get out on parole.
So, I get out on parole and then they're like, okay, yeah, you have to go since you have, which I didn't have drug crimes at all, which was weird, but they considered it burglary since I was burglarizing to get drugs that, whatever. So I had to do intensive outpatient and still see my parole officer once or twice a week. And then that lasted for probably about 6 months. And then I graduated all of that. And I was clean. And then...
What year is this, by the way? 2018?
2018.
Okay.
And then for whatever reason, I started drinking again. Because I was like, I can drink, I never really had a problem drinking, which looking back, I did.
Yeah.
I always took it to the extreme. Anything I ever do, I take to the extreme,
Yeah,
of
course. The addiction gene.
Yeah, And I started drinking, and then that wasn't enough. And then that's when, like I said, I started shooting coke. And I'd be at work in the porta john shooting coke, Yeah.
Right back
to it. And then she found out and she cut me off, blocked me on everything.
So for the audience listening, he's referring to his wife.
My wife.
His wife is here in the studio. So you guys met when you got out of prison and you were on parole.
Yes.
Okay. So she knows what you're like sober. Okay. So she gets to know you sober. Mm-hmm. Then you start drinking again.
Yep. I start she would come over to hang out or whatever. So I would buy like a gallon of iced tea and a pint of vodka.
So you're hiding the drinking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was
okay.
hiding it. She hadn't, I wasn't openly,
drinking in front
of her at all. No.
Okay. And then it leads to you eventually shooting coke. How much further down do you go back to heroin?
No. Nope.
Suboxone.
Yeah. Yep. Subutex, Suboxone.
Okay. So now you're
I was definitely afraid of heroin at that point.
Yeah.
Just because I knew it's a different ballgame from when I went in, and I know how addicts think, I'm not going to go, let me try a quarter of a bag or let me try half a bag. If I think I used to shoot 8 bags, give me 8 bags, I'm putting them in that ladle and getting down, Yeah. So, and that was one thing that honestly kept me away from heroin. And I guess that's what justified me using cocaine. It was like, I never really had a problem with cocaine.
Yeah. So how do you end up, you got off of drugs. You haven't used drugs since 2018.
Yeah.
So what happens to get you to stop?
Honestly, it's a mix of work and her. I mean, like I said, I work 7 days a week, and there's stretches of I work 4 or 5 months at a time without a day off, straight through, consistent. I'm home every day for the most part, but work takes a lot of my life, and then travel. Like we like to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So it I know that thought is always in the back of my mind though. If I pick up, that's it. I don't have any more runs left in me.
But how did you end up stopping? So you're shooting coke, you're doing Subutex. So what does your wife do? She comes to you one day and says, listen,
you're done with me. I'm done with you. I want nothing to do with you. You're a piece of shit. I mean, read me a riot act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really, really put me in my place, and it stuck. And I don't know. As weird as to say, I don't know why it stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was accountability measures that were put in place, and you were faced with an ultimatum.
Yeah.
And so then the next day you decide, I'm done.
Yeah. I think I had some needles, and I think I had some coke, and I FaceTimed her, or she came to my house, and I dumped it down the toilet and flushed it and then threw the needles away.
All right. So you're now living this clean life, and your now wife, but girlfriend at the time, is holding you accountable. Yeah. And you know what? In some cases, in early sobriety, for me, they say you have to want to do it for yourself. And yes, we do want to do it for ourselves, but sometimes we need that accountability, that help.
Absolutely.
I was married when I got clean and sober, and she's now my ex-wife, wonderful lady. She drug tested me.
Yeah.
She drug tested me.
Yeah.
And that's what kept me clean and sober, or else she was leaving. Yeah. If I pissed dirty, she was leaving. Yep. And that's what helped me in the beginning until I got my feet underneath me. And then I started to see the hope. I started to, work. I started to do just every area of my life just started to improve. And that was through a program. Did you go to meetings at all during that time?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And then that's kind of where it was like, there's too much politicking going on. It's too much war stories and, oh, hey, what are we doing after? It was more focused on what we were doing after the meeting than the actual meeting.
Yeah. More hangout.
Yes. It was more of like a click up, let's hang out, and this is what it'll be. For me, it was, she made me put Life 360 on my phone. She held my bank cards. Any information got direct deposited to her account, like to my bank account, but she had all the access to everything. And she, like I said, drug tested me, and she held me more accountable than my PO did. Because my PO, I would know when he was coming. So I would just use until, 3 days before he's coming, and then I would just quit, piss, drink a bunch of water, piss it out, and pass. And then, but her, I never knew when she would drug test me. She would just show up and say, all right, here, piss in this cup. Or, hey, stop at Walgreens real quick, piss in this cup.
So she was managing your money.
Oh, yeah.
That's huge. Because anytime I got a paycheck, I tried getting sober and clean probably 30 times. Yeah. And I would get like a month, and then I'd get a paycheck. Yep. And I always used when things were going good.
Oh, yeah, always.
I'm like, for whatever 30 reason. Days, life's good now. It was just a mistake. I could use one time. Yep. But when someone started managing my money, my wife at the time, that's when things changed for me. It's the accountability.
Oh, I'd have to have receipts for everything. If I didn't have a receipt, even if it was for a $2 pack of gum, that was the end of the world.
Now, one could argue, right? You could have taken back the reins of your, managing your own money. You could have just said, fuck that. What was it in you? Because again, you're a grown man at this point. You're like 30 years old, if my math is correct. Yeah. And you can do whatever the fuck you want. But there was a piece of you that admitted defeat. Yeah. And that this was really your only route to continue down a path to give yourself a shot at a successful life and a happy life. What was it this time that allowed you to give her that power to do that? Because you didn't have to.
I honestly don't know how to answer that. As weird as it is to say, it was like the connection between me and her. It was... My whole life, I was searching for someone to genuinely care for what I had to offer. You know what I mean? Like when you're a drug addict, people care about you when you're up. You know what I mean? You're the greatest in the world when you're on top of the world. But when you're laying on the floor, shitting on yourself, you're the worst, So I guess it was that genuine care and like nurturing and like, hey, you don't have to do this alone. Like I'm here for you. would say that would be probably the biggest thing that kept me clean. And even whenever we split up those 2 years ago, I had opportunities, to use Coke or whatever. And I never did. I just drank, because I didn't want to come to that situation where it was like, hey, we're going to get back together, but I did this.
Yeah. So you bring up a few things. Number one, do you believe in God?
I believe in something.
A higher power.
I believe, yeah, absolutely.
There's a power out there greater.
Yes.
Okay. So you stated earlier that with the football, you were searching just for that, from your grandfather. You did a good job just to be loved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then your father leaving at such a young age, that's so confusing for a young boy. And then when he reaches out to you guys, he's just asking about your sister and not you. So you're not getting that love. And it's funny how there was this pattern of using drugs, drinking alcohol, etc., going on for so long. Then you finally meet someone, a higher power puts someone in your life.
Absolutely.
That makes you feel loved.
Yeah.
And then you're able to put down the drugs.
Yeah.
And then now you have a purpose. Now you have hope. It's crazy. You just wanted to be loved.
Yeah.
This big offensive lineman. Yeah. What are you, 6'4"?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're huge. Yeah. Just wanted love this whole time. And so you also brought up just before a second ago, and I want to go into this because a lot of people go through relapse and sobriety. You talked about 2 years ago you drank. Now, you haven't, we briefly discussed this before, so I know the details of it, but you haven't used drugs since 2018. You guys had a rough patch in your relationship. You and your wife had a rough patch. You guys end up getting married. You have a rough patch in your relationship 2 years ago, 2+ years ago, and then you end up picking up a drink, and you haven't done that in a very long time. What can you walk us through what the relapse was like? What kind of led to it? And then you not picking up drinking again. And because usually people spiral.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's
a relapse. I've spiraled.
Honestly, if I wouldn't have wrecked my motorcycle, it would have been a whole different story. It was going that route. It was going that direction. The relapse was, it was easy. It was like, hey, we're going for a ride, hot summer day. Let's ride to this bar and then we'll get something to eat or whatever. And then it was like, oh, hey, you know what? We're all here. I can handle a beer. Here, give me a beer. And then that, slowly turned into, drinking a case and a half with a buddy on a Tuesday night, just like that, like riding a bike. You know what I mean? So it was coming. And I feel like I believe everything happens for a reason. I do believe in karma, and I do believe in things like that. And I feel like that is why I wrecked that motorcycle, was to save me from what was coming.
So the first day that you were drinking, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at the irony.
Yeah, it is.
You wreck your motorcycle. Yeah. So it was like a one-day thing.
No, I drank at my sister's wedding. My sister got married. I drank at her wedding, and then I made it a month and a half.
Okay, got it.
About a month and a half.
Got it. So the end result was you that day drinking however many beers, and then you wreck your motorcycle. So what led to ultimately the drinking, though? There was something between you and?
It was just like, oh, we're at my sister's wedding. I'm a weird person. I don't like being around large groups of people. I get really uncomfortable. And I fucked up, and the addict slipped out of me in convincing her to let me drink at the wedding.
Oh yeah, we manipulate.
I absolutely manipulated her at the wedding. You know what I mean? To drink. And then that was kind of the spiral. The start of the spiral was from the wedding.
Was there something that you weren't doing up to the wedding that you normally were doing when you first got clean? Like a lack of something in your program?
No.
Were things going so good in your life?
No, life wasn't going great. Me and her were having some problems that we couldn't see eye to eye on, and it was just kind of.
So you were facing some adversity in life,
and it was kind of just the perfect scenario. Perfect scenario for a person like me to grab a hold of.
Yeah,
and to my benefit. That selfish addict behavior.
Yeah,
So
you wreck your motorcycle. I'm sorry to hear that.
Me too.
You didn't have a helmet on.
No.
Can you walk us through the accident and what the aftermath was?
Absolutely, I can. So we were, myself and a couple of my friends, we were at a bar drinking. Was fine. I felt fine. Didn't think I was, that drunk at all. Our other buddy was sleeping against the wall at the bar, So it's getting time to leave, and we're like, all right, let's get out of here. So we go to leave. Our buddy that was sleeping, he blew past us. So I look at my buddy, we're riding side by side. I'm like, what the fuck? Whatever. So instead of going the highway, at the last second, I turned left onto a back road. And my buddy Johnny was like, what are you doing? I was like, just something different. Had my radio blasting, click second, click third. So at that point, I'm probably 80, 85. Came into a turn, there was gravel there. Just next thing I knew, I woke up in the back of the ambulance, and the guy was like, hey, I'm so-and-so from Fayette EMS. You wrecked your motorcycle. We're going to life flight you. And I'm like, well, how bad's my bike? And they were like, oh, you're going to be all right, whatever. And my buddy Johnny was calling me because we'd always, let each other know, like when we'd get home, kickstand down, hey, I made it home safe. So he's blowing me up, and I answered. I'm like, hey, I'm in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. I went down, and he was like, no, you didn't, blah, blah, blah. So I hung up on him, and I FaceTimed him as I'm in the ambulance, blood all over my face, in a neck brace, getting ready to get into a helicopter. So then he's crying, and everybody's all freaked out. But yeah, I don't remember anything from the actual accident, but I seen my bike, and I tried kind of piecing it together. But there was a lady out walking her dog when I wrecked, and her son came over to me, I guess, and I was laying on the road, and I asked him for a cigarette. I said, hey, can you grab my cigarettes? They're in my bag. And one of her clients that she does hair.
Your wife's clients?
One of my wife's clients pulled up as I'm laying on the road, and the kid was going to give me a cigarette, and she started freaking out on him, like, don't give him a cigarette. What's wrong with you? And the kid was like, he's going to die. I'm giving him a cigarette. And then I guess I started the death gurgle and went out. Yeah. Didn't break a bone on my body.
You didn't break a bone in your body?
I walked out of the hospital 12 hours later. I asked her to take me to where I wrecked. I'm in hospital scrub pants that are too small for me, paper ones. A hospital scrub shirt that's up to my nipples because it wouldn't let me leave. No shoes because they cut everything off of me. They cut my jeans off, cut my shirt off, cut my boots off. They wheeled me down to her car. I get in the car. I go to where the accident was. I have my head bandaged up. I'm in these scrubs, and I get out because I want to see, what happened. I'm trying to humble myself because I struggle with that. I know a lot of people who've wrecked doing a lot less or lost their life, and I walked away fine. Went to work 3 days later.
And you didn't have a helmet on?
Didn't have a helmet on. Road rashed my face. I had to get, they stapled my head 4 times. So that what they had to do is they had to pinch it closed, staple it, sew it, pull the staples out, staple it again, sew it, pull the staples out. Yeah, it was a process. And yeah, and I stopped. She took me to where the accident was, and I got out, and I was standing there looking, and an old lady pulled up, and she said, yeah, somebody went down on a motorcycle last night right here. And I looked at her, and I said, that was me. And she looked at me like I had 12 heads, like, honey, how are you here? Yeah. I have a lot of survivors, I guess, remorse or guilt for that, because like I said, I know guys that have went down 20, 30 mile an hour, can't walk, and I literally, like a drunk asshole, fucking went over a guardrail 85, 90 mile an hour, landed on my head, and walked out of the hospital.
Cops never said anything about you drinking?
Never got a DUI, nothing.
Wow. So a lot of people go through that and don't continue to go back to drinking and drugging.
Yeah, 100%.
And this was your last time drinking. You're a miracle. You're very lucky to be alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is life like for you today?
Boring. Chaos. It's exciting.
Chaos. Dude.
It's a mixture of chaos, randomness, just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I work a lot. She works a lot. We have two dogs that are a handful. Travel a lot. Yeah. She loves Disneyland World. So I'm there all the time. I like Vegas.
Yeah.
I like Jamaica, but I have a passport. Fell in with a passport. Never thought I was able to get a passport.
So you said chaos, but let's clarify that. These are all good things. You're busy today. You are working a job. You are an employee. You can travel whenever you want.
Yeah.
You have a passport. You're in a loving marriage. You have 2 dogs. You have all of these things. But it's funny you say boring. I always needed action in my life.
And I still kind of do. And I think that's one downfall of having an addictive personality, because I love the adrenaline rush. Like I love adrenaline. Like we went to Universal a couple years ago, and this is the honest God truth. We rode the Velocicoaster. I never even knew this ride existed, right? So we get on this roller coaster. It sends you to the moon, right? So we get back into where you get off. I look at her and I'm like, that is the closest thing to fucking shooting heroin I've ever experienced in my entire life, but yelled it top of my lungs. Like it was like somebody hit me with a turkey baster of 10 bricks. It was the craziest experience. And I was just like mind blown. I'm like, I wish I could live like this all the time. You know what I mean? It's such a good feeling, but the bad that comes with it's not worth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The repercussions, I guess.
Yeah. What have you learned about yourself since being sober?
You can survive anything. Nothing is impossible. Nothing. You just have to believe it, because nobody else is going to do it for you. You know, you have to really want it. Nobody, you know, she could want it for me. You could want it for me. But if I don't want it for myself, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Well, Jordan, I want to thank you so much for taking the trip.
Absolutely.
Your story, I mean, you're very lucky to be here today. You are a miracle. And I appreciate you today being a sober member of just the community, the country, the world, because we all stick together. we're shoulder by shoulder.
Yes.
So many people are dying. And, you know, when you're doing heroin, when you don't, any drug, you don't know what you get today.
Nope.
You mentioned earlier that, you know, so many people had died in your life, and the same applies to me as well. Friends that I shouldn't be here either.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for staying sober, show other people that it is possible, and give people hope out there, because we're losing the fight right now against the disease of addiction. And, you know, it's people like you who show others that it is possible and, you know, can change another life. So thank you for being so vulnerable and having the willingness to share your story with me today. So thank you again.
No, thank you for having me tell my story. And if there's still a lot of stigma about drug addicts, that's someone's mother, that's someone's child, that's someone's family member. So if you see someone laying on the side of the road, ask them if they're all right. You know, don't just, you know, get your phone out and take a video handing them a water. Do it because you genuinely care. Like, that's one thing that drives me insane is people that do the wrong thing. Like that, you think that person wants to be filmed, you handing them a water. They're at the lowest point in their life. Just give them the water or just keep pushing. You know what I mean? Like that's a human being. Treat them like a human being.
Yeah.
You know?
Cool. Well, thank you very much.